Hello, my name is Ricky and welcome to Lowe's How To Anything. Today, we are gonna paint a ceiling. Why do we paint a ceiling? Well, we can do this to change the aesthetic of the room. We can make it look larger or smaller or just put a fresh color in here. However, sometimes you have to paint because of repairs you've done. Like this room here. We have some mixed match paint and some drywall repairs that have been done in the past. So this is the perfect candidate for a fresh coat to make everything nice and even. So let's get started. Time to prep the room. Now, if you're painting an older ceiling, you want to have a professional check for lead. Same goes for a popcorn ceiling and asbestos. Luckily for us, our ceiling is new and nice and smooth. Now, painting can get messy, so we need to cover everything. We're going to cover the cabinets, the countertops, the floors, and the furniture. So let's get started. Every once in a while, you'll run into a light fixture that's just too hard to remove. So we'll cover this up and get it all protected. Now that we've prepped our room, it's time to prep the ceiling. If you have any repairs or things that have to be done, now is the time to do it. Fortunately, we've already addressed that. I bought this microfiber mop from Lowe's, and I need to take this and dust the ceiling off for any cobwebs or dirt, and then we're ready for primer. For areas like the kitchen where it can get greasy, I like to apply a degreaser. Just spray it on my micro mop and apply it, and we're ready to go. All right, our ceiling is finally clean, and now I'm gonna do something called spot priming. So we're gonna apply this Valspar primer sealer to the parts of the ceiling that have been repaired. If we don't apply this primer, we might have uneven coverage and absorption for the final paint. So it's really important that we prime those specific areas. We did a big repair in this section right here, so we wanna roll this whole area out with the primer. The primer is all done and it is dry, so guess what? It's time to paint. But how much paint do we buy? I'm gonna go to Lowes.com and go on their paint calculator. Now, our room was 25 feet by 22 feet. That lets us know that we need 1.6 gallons of primer and 2.8 gallons of finish paint. And the total time to do this project will be about 5 hours, so we better get started. All right, we first want to start our paint job in the corners and edges before we tackle the whole area with the big roller. That'll ensure that we get all the tricky spots first. Now to paint the edges, you want to use a 2 to 3 inch angled brush, and that'll get really good into all the corners. Now like our primer, I am using a Valspar paint, and it is a paint and primer built in one, which makes it so nice. It is spatter resistant and mold and mildew resistant. Now we're using a dead flat finish, which is very common on ceilings, and that'll just give it a beautiful look. So we're gonna dip our brush in 1/3 of the way into the paint to prevent overloading. And as we're cutting in on the edges, we wanna make sure we take long strokes so we don't have any big brush marks. Now, since we're working with a really smooth ceiling, I like to brush in my corners and then immediately go over it with a roller. That'll smooth out any brush strokes that I have. But if you have a textured ceiling, you'll be okay probably with just the brush. Okay, the corners and edges are all done. Now it's time to tackle the rest of the area with some large rollers. To speed this project up, I am going to use an 18-inch roller. Now a roller this big will give us maximum coverage. These rollers come in different sizes and different naps. Now today we have a smoother ceiling, so we're going to use a 3/8 nap roller. That's good for a semi-smooth to smooth ceiling. If you have more texture on your ceiling, then you want to use a bigger nap roller. You can also check the packaging on the roller because it'll tell you what type of surface it's good for. So let's get some paint on this roller. To maximize the coverage of your paint, you can take your roller and make a huge W across your ceiling and then come right back. And you'll be able to cover a large area. Now, even though this isn't a dramatic color change, we had repairs. So that's why we wanted to paint the ceiling. We want everything to look nice and even. The first coat is done and it looks fantastic. The ceiling is looking so much more even. We're gonna let it dry and then we're gonna come back tomorrow to do a second coat. I'm back. The ceiling dried well. However, it could use a second coat. So let's pour some paint and get started. Our second coat is done, but while the paint is slightly wet, it's the perfect time to remove that tape. If we let it dry fully, we can possibly remove some of our new paint. So let's take that tape off now. And that's it. Our ceiling project is finished and I think it came out perfect. Now, anything you need for your next painting project, you can find at Lowe's or Lowes.com. And while you're in the store, if you need any help, feel free to talk to a Lowe's Red Vest associate and they'll be more than happy to assist you. And please like and subscribe this video and let us know in the comments what you want to see on the next episode of Lowe's How To Anything.